What up? I'm Chet Popelka, and this is the Braves TomaBlog. I'm here talking about what to expect from Ronald Acuna. So everyone was on the Ronald Acuna hype train about a year ago. I was about the last person to join the Acuna hype train, and I'll tell you why. Is that I am sick. I'm just a little run out of these prospects that are all speed and we'll see with the bat. The Braves have about 50 of them in their farm system. Every other farm system has about 20 of just guys that are really fast, not much power, and you say, we'll see. And everyone told me a year ago when he got here, watch out for him, he's hitting really well, he's hitting above 300, and I said, that's fine, but so is Ender Inciarte. And that's what it sort of came down to, is that if we have this really good center field prospect with great speed, has a ton of range, he can hit 300, why would I get rid of Ender Inciarte for him? And that still hasn't changed, is that if I had to pick today between Ronald Acuna and Ender Inciarte, I pick Ender Inciarte every single time, and I know the prospect that Acuna is, I know how great he is, and I know what Ender Inciarte is. And if I have to choose between one of them, I choose Inciarte. Why? One of them is a top-notch prospect. One of them is in the Futures Game. One of them is an all-star. One of them is, hitting great, fielding great, stealing bases. The other has won a Gold Glove. One of them is arbitration eligible one day. The other is signed on a 5-year, $30 million contract. What that means is that paying Ronald Acuna arbitration money would cost us more than what we are definitely going to pay Ender Inciarte. The point is that Ender Inciarte is the Braves center fielder long term, and that's not going to change for anyone. But this year, Ronald Acuna has completely changed my mind on him. I'm 100% bought in on him, and here's why. In 79 games and 311 at-bats, his slash line is 309, 358, 492, with an 850 OPS. He has 10 home runs, 45 RBIs, 31 extra base hits, and then on top of that, he has 32 stolen bases. The point is that he's proven to have so much gap power and just general power that he's literally grown into that he didn't have a year ago, that he's proven he can play a corner outfield position. There's not a lot of guys in the MLB like that. You see a guy that's 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, you don't think that he could possibly be a corner outfielder and get the power that you need out of him. But he's hit 10 home runs thus far this year with 45 RBIs, and he's just slugging. I've heard some comparisons saying that he's really close to Andrew Jones. I think that's a bit optimistic, especially on the power side. Keep in mind that Andrew Jones was in the home run derby. One year he hit 51 home runs while playing at Turner Field. Ronald Acuna is not going to come anywhere close to that. I sat down, I thought about it, I looked it up, and there are a lot of players comparable to what Acuna profiles as. They're just not guys that you think about a lot. They're not guys that you spend a lot of thought on. So AJ Pollock, he's 6'1", 195 pounds. He's hit 20 home runs. He steals about 20 bases every year. Charlie Blackmon is 6'3", 190 pounds. Sort of similar to Acuna. Does everything well. Steals bases, hits runs, and scores run. He does all of it. Adam Eaton, 5'8", 185 pounds. Same thing. He steals as many bases as he hits home runs. He can hit at the top of the lineup. He can hit at the bottom of the lineup. He can do whatever you need him to do. These are guys that you see on underrated lists. Guys who you see with around 5 wins above replacement a season, but you don't spend a lot of thought on them. That's what Acuna is profiling as. Now, as far as where he could fit into the mix, I think that that's even more exciting. He's a right-handed hitter who's hitting for a good amount of power and stealing a lot of bases. So with 45 RBIs in half a season, and I'm not saying that directly transitions to the MLB, but the point is that he can hit runs in, and he's a righty. You go, oh, he could slide in right at the cleanup spot and protect Freddie Freeman. And he could. I think the far more exciting option is to have him slide in front of Freeman and hit second. You go Ender Inciarte, lefty, Ronald Acuna, righty, Freddie Freeman, lefty, and then either Matt Kemp or another power-hitting righty behind them. That's insane. That's an amazing top of the lineup. Now, you never know how people profile once they're in the lineup. I wrote an article on the Facebook page the other day talking about how we all wanted Dansby to be a two-hole hitter, and he's clearly not. He doesn't steal bases. He's not a great on-base guy, but he hits runs in. You can't presume what he's going to be, but Acuna seems like the type of prototypical two-hole hitter that the information age craves, the guy that can literally do everything. He can steal bases. He can be on base. He can also hit runs in. He can also hit home runs. That's the type of guy that you want getting that extra at-bat every game. As far as his development goes, there's no need to rush him, and we're rushing him. He's 19 years old, and absolutely he is killing it. And Copy said in a tweet a few weeks ago, maybe even at the end of 2017, don't do that. There's no reason for that. He's 19 at Double-A. That's exactly where Ozzie was last year. And you see we're spending extra time with Ozzie this year, getting everything worked out. Here's the reason you don't want to see him in the major leagues yet. he hasn't struggled yet. And that's what, honestly, that's what the minor leagues are there for at this point. Acuna has proven that he has all the tools in order to hit at the major league level. He could come up and he could probably hit pretty well at the major league level. But that's not the point. The point is that you have to struggle at it to learn how to deal with struggling. You have to learn to make adjustments in the minor leagues. And he's talented his way through the minor leagues. And some guys do that. Some guys, the minor leagues just don't challenge. There's guys like Jason Hayward, there's guys like Bryce Harper, that they just shot through the minor leagues and they never struggled. And it took them a lot longer to learn to deal with struggles and to learn to make adjustments at the major league level. Likewise, you have guys that have slow developments and they learn to deal with struggles. Look at Mike Trout, was drafted in 2009, didn't debut until 2012 at the same time as Bryce Harper, even though he was older, and it's just been a steady uphill climb. Same thing with Freddie Freeman. He's the same age as Jason Hayward. He spent an extra year in AAA, and he knew exactly how to deal with struggles once he got there, and he was an incline all the way up where Hayward sort of went up and down and still continues to do so. That's the point, is that you just want him dealing with struggles, and thus far he hasn't. If the minor leagues can't challenge him at any point, then so be it. He'll have to learn it here. But he'll likely be a better player long term the more time he spends in the minors. If I were the Braves, and I think the Braves would agree with me on this, I think that the plan should be that you want to plan on Acuna being ready by next year, but you don't want to plan on him contributing next year. If he can force his way up and you can't possibly not have him in the lineup, then fine, that's what you do. To me, he looks like the clear heir apparent to Nick Markakis. If you need to just move Markakis and have Acuna take the spot, then that's fine, you can do that. But you don't want to rely on him for next year. That's sort of what we did with Dansby Swanson, and it took him time to adjust. He had to deal with the expectations. Make Acuna force his way in. That's what they should be doing, and hopefully that's what he does.